This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace.
Last year, I went through many different life changes. I needed to take a pause and examine how I was feeling in the inside to better show up for the ones who need me to be my best version of myself.
When you're navigating life's changes, Talkspace can help. Talkspace is the #1 rated online therapy, bringing you professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatry providers that you can access anytime, anywhere.
Living a busy life, navigating a long-distance relationship, becoming a first-step father, Talkspace made all of those journeys possible. I could speak with my therapist in the office. I could speak with my therapist in the comfort of my home. I was never alone.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance, no problem. Now get $80 off your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
If you work in university maintenance, Grainger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Grainger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more, and all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, visit Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening, downloading, and subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm 12 Kyle. Check this out. On this podcast, we're going to talk about the dog days of summer. At the time of this recording, it is summertime and it's hot. Now, it doesn't necessarily matter where you are, wherever you are, and you're listening to this podcast. You know, unless you're in Antarctica, it's probably hot where you are. But again, that's the summertime. That's what it's supposed to be, right? But the dog days of summer are upon us. I heard that on the TV this evening on the news, and just the saying, the dog days of summer, that's a saying that I've heard all my life. And it got me to thinking about a particular instance where, you know, just the heat and everything of the summer was just unbearable. And I did something crazy that you might find funny. Nonetheless, we've had here in the city of Atlanta, I think today it was 97. Tomorrow is supposed to be like 99. And I think by the end of the week, it's supposed to get up to 100. The heat index makes it feel like it's like 103. And, you know, it's the summertime and it's Atlanta, so it's going to be hot. And I think one of the things that really bothers people, not so much as the heat, but it's the humidity. Like, I mean, even at night, if you go outside, like it's like 85 degrees at night. It's just humid. And, you know, for people who have problems breathing, I wouldn't dare ask you to be outside for any extended period of time. Nonetheless, the podcast isn't about weather. So when I heard them say that on the news earlier this evening, the dog days of summer, it got me to thinking about a particular memory. As some of you know, or may not know, I played college football. I played college football at South Carolina State University. Shout out to King Germ from the Frocast podcast. No, Germ is not an alum, but he loves it when I shout out my alma mater. What up, Germ? Nonetheless, so I played football 4 years there, or 5 years at South Carolina State University. And I've often told people, like, I think you have to be crazy to play football, right? Like, you really got to have some screws loose to play football. I mean, who else would put themselves through that punishment, running into each other in extreme weather of either heat or in the cold, and just doing it for the love of the game? But nonetheless, part of my experience is, you know, just playing football. And obviously when you play football, you have to get ready and conditioning yourself. So one thing I learned very quickly when I got to college, the conditioning that you needed to have to play high school football and then the conditioning that you needed to have to play college football are on two different levels, right? So I remember my freshman year, or going into my freshman year before I arrived on the campus of South Carolina State University. And, I would get up and, train. I'd run and stuff in the morning, and I'd run a little bit in the afternoon, not really, run around the track a little bit and, run around the neighborhood, but nothing strenuous. And then when I got to South Carolina State University, I realized that they had this test. It wasn't a written test. The test was called, simply put, the mile. And what it was that you had to run a mile in a timed, in a set amount of time, basically. And it depended on your position. For people like, say, I played wide receiver. So for people like me, we had to run a mile in 5 minutes and 45 seconds. For the bigger guys, I think they had to run it in 7 minutes and 15 seconds. I'll be the first to admit, I'm not a distance runner at all, right? So I wasn't really sure how to prepare myself. I mean, I ran, a bunch of, hundreds and 400s and, things around the track. But, trying to prepare yourself for the mile, it's not an easy task on top of you, working on your routes and catching the football and stuff like that. And simply put, to train yourself for football, you have to be in the heat. I mean, there's no way around it, right? So I remember my freshman year going to South Carolina State and having to run the mile. And I'd never run a timed mile before. And so I ran it. And the thing that they didn't tell you as a freshman was that, if you don't make the mile, if you don't make your allotted time, you got to run that shit again. So just imagine running a mile as fast as you could, and not making your time and having to run it again the next day either before practice or after practice. Right. So I had to run it 3 times my freshman year, which was BS because really as a freshman, they should have cut me some slack, but they didn't. And it wasn't because I wasn't in shape. I just didn't. I'll be honest. I just did not know how to run a distance. I'm a sprinter, or at least I was. I ain't running shit now, but I was a sprinter, right? So, 100-yard dash, no problem. 40-yard dash, no problem. You get me running a mile, that's a problem. Because most people, when they run and they pace themselves. So anyway, so my freshman year, I get that out the way. And I finally, after 3 tries, I'll finally make it, right? So coming into my sophomore year, which is actually because I didn't play my freshman year. So it was my red shirt freshman year, my second year at the university. Summer's going, I went home for the summer and worked out crazy, caught a lot of passes, got my conditioning up and everything. And keep in mind, at the time, I probably weighed about 160 pounds with Timberlands on. I wasn't a heavy guy or anything like that. So it wasn't like I had a lot of weight to carry, first and foremost. But the thing is, it doesn't matter how big you are, having to run in the heat and it's timed isn't easy at all. Most of you who are listening, you probably work out, you probably do a walk or something like that, or you go to the gym and you run on the treadmill. But just imagine somebody saying, okay, you got to run a mile and you have to run it in a specific amount of time. And if you don't make that time, you're going to have to run that again. You might go crazy. And for me, I think looking back on it now, and I've never been anxious or anything like that. The anxiety started to build up, right? So the closer and closer we're getting to coming to camp, I'm like getting really nervous about, whether or not I can make my mile. Now, keep in mind, all summer long, I've been training. I've been running 400s. And what I mean by 400, a 400 is a lap around the track. So I would run my 400s. And I would run 4 because 4 would be a mile. But I never ran them consecutive. I would always just run 1, then I run 2, then I ran, I'd take a break or what have you. I probably should have run a complete mile, but I never did during my training. So, you come back to camp, you get there, and one of the great things about football camp is that, if you don't go to summer school and you don't see your teammates, for the most part, you haven't seen your teammates in a few months. So it's the whole idea of seeing the guys again and the camaraderie of the locker room and seeing your teammates, guys you're about to go to war with, so to speak. And what was always interesting was, you would see a guy sometimes, and athletes, we know, when you look at when one athlete looks at another athlete, you can look at his body and tell if he's in shape. Like, there would be some teammates I would see, I'm like, oh, he ain't been working out this summer. Too many Twinkies, that type of thing. So we would kind of tease each other and judge each other and say, hey, okay, you're not gonna make your mile. You look like you hadn't been working out all summer. So it was our way of kind of keeping ourselves accountable. So here we are. We get to camp, and I think you get to camp and you check in and the whole nine and start talking, and we go through just a little paperwork stage. And then I think the first day of camp, we have to have physicals. So you go get a physical, whatever the case may be. And after you get the physical, the next day you run the mile. Well, they told us for guys at my position, so that would be the wide receivers, quarterbacks, defensive backs, and running backs. Instead of 5 minutes and 45 seconds, you got 6 minutes. 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes, Dougie Fresher on. So that's a little bit of relief. That's 15 more seconds, but you got 6 minutes to run a mile, right? So I don't know what was going on. I was just so anxious. I was just like, oh my God, I got to make this mile. And it wasn't like, again, for you listening, I don't want you to think I wasn't in shape, because I was in shape. I was in great shape. I'd never been, and trust me, I've never been in that and probably never be in that great of shape again in my life, because my scholarship depended on it. Nonetheless, so I'm just having these many anxiety rushes, like, oh my God, I got it. And like, I literally couldn't sleep the night before just thinking about running that mile. And so here's one of the things about football that makes absolutely no sense. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. So one would think that, okay, well, hey, you got these guys running, they're going to run this mile, and it's hot, and it's in the city of Orangeburg, South Carolina, which geographically, at least back then, it felt like it was right next to the equator, right? So Orangeburg isn't close to the equator, but it really felt like that. Like, it was it's probably the hottest place that I've ever been in my life. And so we're thinking, okay, well, hey, we're probably going to run before practice. Oh no, this particular year, the time changes. So they inform us that we're going to run at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, for those of you who have never been to Orangeburg, South Carolina, that is the hottest point of the day. And so if you have a 95 degree day, it's probably 95 degrees at 3 p.m. And so like, we were like, well, why are we running at 3 o'clock? And the coaches, their explanation was, hey, there's no need for us to run in the morning or in the evenings, because we don't play our games in the mornings or the evenings. We have to be ready for game time weather. I thought it was bullshit, but but that's what we had to do. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, to me, that just added to the anxiety, right? So 6 minutes. I got 6 minutes. So I'm thinking the whole time 6 minutes. And then so some of my teammates are coming to me like, yo, man, what you gonna do? Are you gonna jump out in the front? Are you gonna lay in the back? How are you gonna run it? And so as we're having these conversations, I'm getting even more anxious. And again, I've never suffered from any type of anxiety. I'm pretty level, pretty calm about most things. So this was really getting to me. So the night before I couldn't sleep. So I was like, I gotta make my mile. And so the next day comes and we go out there, and I mean, it didn't help that it was 100 degrees that day. I mean, like, you literally could see the heat rising up off the track. And here we are in t-shirts and shorts and sneakers about to run 6 minutes. And this would be unequivocally the longest 6 minutes of my life. So we're all standing there, at the starting line. Coach blows the whistle and we're off. And for some reason, it just felt like I was floating. Like I don't know what was going through my body. I was just running, and I was running hard, and I was feeling good, and I was breathing through my nose, which you can't breathe through your mouth. Breathing through my nose, and I'm just pumping. I'm just pumping my arms and just running. And I complete my first lap, and the coach is calling out the time, and I hear him say, 58, 59. And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm really flying. So I am like, I don't know if I might have been on an Olympic pace. I don't know. But really, that's really too fast to be running a timed mile in 100-degree weather for someone who does not run track. Right. So I'm running and I'm running and I'm running. And then by the time I get to the second lap, as I cross the line for the second lap, completing the second lap, I look behind me and there's nobody around. Like, I'm literally leading the pack. And then I start hearing something. I hear my heart beating. And it is getting louder and louder. And so I'm still in the lead. And when I turn the corner, just imagine somebody running around a track. As I turned the corner, I looked over my left shoulder. Everybody was like 50 meters behind me. So it looks like I am like on this Olympic pace, like I'm about to be Roger Maris out here. I think that was his name. I don't know. So I get to the third lap. I get to the third lap. And as I cross the line for the third lap, you ever heard the saying, a monkey jumps on your back? I mean, for you non-athletes, you may not have ever heard that term before, but there's a saying that a monkey can jump on your back. Well, this monkey jumped on my back. And not only did the monkey jump on my back, but the monkey had a piano, and he had a drum set, and he had a guitar, and he had some microphones, and he had some weights. What I'm saying is I started slowing down because I couldn't keep up at the pace. But then as I'm slowing down, I'm also realizing that I might not make this time. Like, I've struck out and dusted the field of my teammates. And again, we're not in a competition to see who comes in first. You just have to make your time. You have to come in before 6 minutes. So between 5:45 and 6 minutes, I mean, that's perfect. But as long as you cross that finish line before 6 minutes. And so I just remember, like, everything just started slowing down, and I started seeing the heat rising, and I started seeing things like I saw a little baby on the side of the track. I saw a kangaroo on the side of the track. I mean, like, I started seeing all kind of shit. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hallucinating out here. And again, I'm in shape. It's not like I'm running this race and I'm out of shape, right? And then it happened. One of my teammates passed me. And then 2 more teammates passed me. And then 4 more teammates passed me. And then I'm like, oh shit. And then one of my teammates, who I know for a fact didn't run a lick all summer and smoke cigarettes and smoke weed all summer, he passed me. That's when I began to panic. I'm like, okay, I got to kick it in gear. But here's the thing. There's no gear for me to kick it to. I'm out of gas. So I'm coming around that fourth and final lap. And my coach, he calls out the time, and I'm still on pace to make it. But I just know there's nothing, like there's nothing there. Like I'm literally just running on fumes, trying to make it. So I'm coming down the back 200. I got 200 meters left. So I'm running. And by this time I am pumping my legs, pumping my arms. My head is thrown back, and it's like I'm barely making it. I'm still going, but my heart felt like it was about to jump out of my chest and run alongside with me. And so all I could hear was heart's just pounding, and I'm running. I'm hearing people cheer me on. Go, Kyle, come on, you can do it. Shit. I don't think I could do it. And so I just remember the last 100 meters, I just kind of blanked out. Like it was just, I felt like I was about to pass out, but I got some type of, burst, I guess, in my legs. I guess it might've been the afterburners. And I just remember I remember a couple of people were standing at the finish line, cheering me on, telling me, hurry up. And I hear my coach, and he's like, 55, 56, and I'm not close to the finish line. 56, 57, 58, 59, time. And as he says time, I just crossed the finish line. And as I crossed the finish line, I slowed down, and I think I took a knee. I might have took 2 knees. Hell, I might have laid down. I can't remember. I mean, like everything went, the sky turned purple. I don't know why, but the sky turned purple. I was clearly like hallucinating out there. And I remember somebody giving me some water, and one of the trainers gave me some water and he said, are you okay? And then I saw the kangaroo again on the track. And I drank the water, and the kangaroo disappeared. And I looked up, and I was like, I made it. I made it. And I was so happy that I made my time. And I mean, I barely made it. Again, I came across right at 6 minutes. But I barely made it, but I made it. And so once you make your mile, at least for me, the anxiety was off, because it wasn't like I didn't know the playbook. I didn't know my plays or anything like that. I knew everything that I needed to know football wise. I just couldn't get over that hurdle of making the mile, or at least in my mind. I think the hurdle probably was more mental than anything else. But yeah, I made it. And so naturally, when you make it, it's your turn to go sit on the side and watch everybody else run. And for those who don't make it, oh, you got all the jokes. I had some teammates whose names shall remain nameless. I don't want to call them out. That didn't make it. And it was funny as hell. I remember one teammate, when he crossed the finish line, and like the track was surrounded by grass. On the inside of the track was surrounded by grass. He ran off the track and into the grass. and fell down on his face first, and he didn't make his mile. I've seen guys dive at the finish line only not to make it, and they just dove anyway just to scrape up themselves. I've heard stories about guys falling face first on the track. So yeah, it's always funny. And what's interesting is, like, when I see my teammates now, we always laugh about that. And they call me the rabbit because, that's what the track term is for a person who sets the pace of a distance race, a rabbit. While I did not set out to be the rabbit, that's just how I run. Those first 2 laps, I'm going hard. And the last 2, I'm trying to hold on. But yeah, so when I hear the term dog days of summer, that is what came to mind. And again, it's a funny story. I just had to share it with y'all. It's just, and what's weird is, like, having played football all my life, when this time of the year comes around, my body feels a certain kind of way. And so, like, I know, like, because I'm used to training this time of year, so I feel like I should be training. So even now, back in the gym and I'm working out, I still feel like I should be training for camp, even though I'm 20 years removed from football. And I'm not on scholarship, so I don't have to go run 6 miles in the heat. Could you get me to run a mile today on a track in 100 degree weather? Hell no. But I would rather run on a track than run on a treadmill. Running on a treadmill is boring to me. But I'm just glad that I made it. And it was the longest 6 minutes of my life. Thanks for checking out the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5,000.
If you work in university maintenance, Grainger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Grainger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, visit Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.